Those days, roosters were the timekeepers of Kochi. The birds would start its work by around 4 o'clock early in the morning and continue every half an hour till the sunrise. Perhaps for the first time in their life, most of the children heard the rooster crow. Jumping out of their beds without any prompting, which they generally need on other days, they ran out for the morning ablutions that started with a visit to a couple of coconut trees in the huge campus, especially earmarked for that work. On other days, at least a couple of the children were known for daily recreating scenes for which Lord Krishna, as the darling of Gokulam, was spanked by Yashoda. But that day, they also had no inclination for it. The huge campus had many coconut and a variety of other lush green fruit-bearing trees. All of it were quite healthy, with rich lush green canopy and an unusually huge harvest of tasty fruits. Secret behind perhaps was the ablutions in its surroundings by the kids. It ensured that the plants were never deprived of much needed NPK, that is nitrogen, phosphorus and potash. With the bathing and kitchen waste water diverted to tree roots, the soil in the campus had everything that a plant can dream of. The grateful trees paid back with a huge harvest of fruits that tasted very good. Well before the world woke up to the reality of organic farming or sustainable agriculture, the grandchildren in the Pateka family, though unknowingly, were practitioners of that idea. That morning, there was a strange urgency seen in the way a majority of the children went about the daily routine works. The same task that required prodding by elders when the school was in session so that they would not be late for the school assembly. That morning they found the children highly self-motivated and time-conscious, all working in a spirit of competition with each other in finishing the task. Those who could finish the first task ran towards the water point, where the cold water drawn from the well no longer appeared cold, as so hot had become their heads and bodies because of the excitement generated since overnight. Quickly finishing the bath, they ran into the house and got themselves dressed up, a rarity again, as on school days that work had to be taken up by the mother or some elder member of the family, so that time would not be wasted by the kids in finding things out. Rushing out of the house one by one, like birds flying out of the nest, they waited anxiously for others near the bamboo fence in the courtyard, making the elder again wonder why that type of enthusiasm was missing when it comes to going to school. It was still dark with sunrise still half an hour away. It was then that some of the kids noticed, perhaps for the first time in their lives, a riot of colors splash on the eastern horizon, making them wonder about its origin. Highly excited, they pointed that to others in the group. They too could only stare in admiration at the strange spectacle. The youngest among them tried to identify the colors, but when made mistakes, others giggled merrily. Soon it was the melodious chirpings of the morning birds on the giant ficus tree right in front of their house that caught their attention. The birds were perhaps making merry as it hopped from one branch to the other in search of ripe fruits. The children had never seen so many types of birds together. Not that their own campus was not without birds. They never found time for that. That set the theme of discussion about the birds. Some of the children tried to identify the birds, but could do only by its color, size, and type of beaks. But that itself was a great achievement. For the next few minutes, as the morning cold breeze gently caressed faces and other exposed parts of their bodies, the highly fascinated kids stood there with mouths and eyes wide open, watching the spectacle of the morning nature getting unraveled in front of them, till Divakar, alias Babbannu, asked them to move forward. Soon over 3 dozen members of the family were walking briskly towards the nearest boat jetty at Mattancherry, to the accompaniment of continuous chatter from the kids. It resembled like an army column marching to the tunes of a band. Taking the muddy road in front of their home, they soon reached the northern side of the TD North Gopuram. Walking up further, they reached the Udyaneshwaram Shiva temple at the east end and then took a turn towards the north to reach the Palace Road in front of the TD High School. Turning towards the east, they walked further straight towards Anavadil to finally reach the boat jetty, covering half a kilometer distance in about 15 minutes. While crossing every landmark like Udyaneshwaram Shiva temple, TD High School, Palliyarakava Bhagavati temple, Navanetha Krishna temple, Tekemadam, Palace Road, Parayanur Bhagavati temple, Sri Krishna temple, Dutch palace, etc. The knowledgeable among the children was giving a running commentary by pointing at them and explaining briefly. The entire stretch of the road was noticed to be deserted except for a couple of stray dogs found here and there. There in the boat jetty, they saw a long but strange type of boat in the river with a couple of rowers holding long bamboo poles in their hands, commonly called Kettuvallam, that is tied boat. The strange mist that covered the river created poor visibility, but the whole area appeared like a place out of the world. For the kids, never in their wildest imagination, they thought that their village had such a beautiful river. As they stood watching the spectacle, Srimati, standing behind, said, "Name of this river is Vembanad Backwaters. From here, flowing further to west, it would join the Arabian Sea." Soon Babbannu gave an instruction, "Get inside the boat, you are going to see so many beautiful things today." Even as they turned their attention towards the boat that was waiting down in the river, there was a loud honking sound from other side of the river, scaring some of the girls out of their wits. Others turned around to find out the source. Soon one could notice through the thick of the morning mist a huge ship slowly being pulled by a small boat. The children were excited to see that, setting again cat among the pigeons. All the kids stood their ground and wanted to catch a glimpse of that strange sight. That they were running behind the schedule for the main program annoyed one of the senior male members, who took control of the situation and firmly told the kids to get inside the boat immediately. The boat, also called the Kettuvallam, waiting for them was strange looking. It is called Perya boat in Konkani, as it resembles a shed. It had its middle part covered with an arc-shaped dome made of dried coconut leaves weaved in a beautiful pattern. It gave the boat an appearance of an oblong-shaped hut. The boat had many small windows on both sides, with two open places resembling like big open doors at the front and the back side. But getting into the boat was a tricky issue, as it wobbled most of the time because of the minor waves in the river. As the balancing became an issue, most of the children had to be physically lifted and put inside the boat by the elders. Walking inside the boat was again a tricky thing because of the wobbling. But once they sat on hard wooden benches, things became more comfortable. But there was a mad scramble to occupy the window seats. Soon, all the members were comfortably seated inside the boat. The boat was finally on the move, with one of the rowing men untying the rope that tied it to the huge tree pole on the bank. The rowing men stationed on the front and the back side had one bamboo pole each in their hands. They dug it deep into the base of the river, then pushed it further, giving forward movement to the boat. Slowly, it got momentum and moving steadily towards the southern side of the majestic Vembanad Kayal, also called Vembanad Backwaters. The boat was moving against strong water current, as the river was on its course to join the Arabian Sea. By that time, the sun had also climbed up sizable distance on the eastern horizon, dispatching the morning mist into oblivion. That opened up beautiful views on either side of the boat for the children and others to see and enjoy. Srimati, one of the grandchildren, working as a teacher, was also in the team. Seeing that all kids were comfortably seated, she first drew their attention, then pointing to the river, said in a low voice, "That is Vembanad Kayal, the longest lake in the country and the largest lake in Kerala. It touches most of the southern parts of the state. It is the main source of transport there. We are going to a nearby Kava. It is a temple, but not like our Tirumala Deva temple. That Kava has lot of jungle around it." The children heard it in all pin drop silence.